Mr. President also said about it. He said that I am always criticized.
Me and you are in the same boat, but support our youth in different kind of areas.
Half of the graduates, they are just struggling to find proper jobs.
How much money is the government planning to allocate? We have so many brilliant young people.
It can reach up to 1 million in 2030.
The information will be checked.
And Mr. President also said like this.
The government is investing a lot of money on sport people. $400 million US because... oh, really?
Yeah. Not for all use.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to CPR Podcast. We have an interesting topic today, which is the youth policy on Uzbekistan. Specifically, we'll be discussing the meeting that the president of Uzbekistan held yesterday with youth. So for that purpose, we invited two brilliant MPs of the Parliament of Uzbekistan, Dr. Umidjon Yakubkhujayev and Otabek Musurmonov. Welcome to our CPR Podcast.
Nice being here.
Good morning. Nice
morning.
to meet you here.
Thank you.
Thank you for invitation.
Thank you. So let's kick off the discussion with the basic question. What are the main key takeaways from this meeting? Is this meeting that important as was widely discussed in social medias?
Youth is the most active part of our society. That's one thing. Another thing is that we have to take into consideration that Uzbekistan is a young nation, in a sense that youth constitutes 60%, about 60% of our nation.
It's huge, right?
Yes, it's very huge. That's another thing. And I would also mention that this people, young people, they are very creative, active in different kind of areas of our life. So they are moving force of our economy to the innovative transformation, to the creative transformation. That's why probably we should pay more attention to the needs of interests of the youth and to support them.
Mm-hmm.
Currently in Uzbekistan, the youth accounts for around 60% of total population. It's a really huge numbers. Therefore, the president always pays constant attention to the youth policy and to this field, because as he said that currently the standards are changing and we are just experiencing a lot of transformations. And also we can say that we have to compete with current situation. The youth should withstand a lot of competitions right now.
In terms of what?
In terms of everything. Economy.
You mean surviving in the life?
Yeah. Surviving in the global, in the global village, we have to compete first of all with ourselves and with others. Nowadays, the population of the world has reached around 8 billion. It means that we have a lot of steps that we should take into consideration, and we have to change a lot of things. And Mr. President also said like this. And also he said it was really happy for the youth, a really good event, that he said that the youth are the golden fund of Uzbekistan, that we should invest a lot of money and we should invest a lot of attention in this sphere.
Okay.
Therefore, it was really fantastic, indispensable.
Okay, so these are, you basically said about the importance of the meeting. What about main ideas? And one more thing. Mr. Umid didn't attend that event.
But I was closely monitoring the process, watching what's happening there.
But me and you are in the same boat, but you're a bit above because, from within, I know that. But we all observe what President said through media. But it would be more specific question to you as well in terms of what was interesting parts that were not mentioned in media if it's not classified. So first, takeaways and interesting moments from the meeting.
Yeah, interesting moments from the meeting. Our president is really open to the youth. He is a good listener in terms of when he has a dialogue with the youth, he's a really brilliant and wonderful listener. He listens to the youth really carefully, and he always discussed everything. And it was really fantastic moment of the meeting. It was really fantastic part of the meeting. And as I had experience from this in this area, because I used to work in Yazak region as a head of the Department of Youth Affairs Agency. And the core point of this meeting was employment, employment of the youth.
Okay.
And he also said that According to the statistics, we can see the numbers from the numbers, around nearly 600,000 youths entering to the labor market on the yearly basis. And it can reach up to 1 million in 2030. Therefore, it was a core point, a central point, epicenter of the meeting yesterday.
Okay.
From my experience, I can say that last year in 2024, from the budget of Uzbekistan, it was allocated to around 345 billion soms for the use from used notebook. You know about used notebooks. It's a unique system of our country. It doesn't exist in many countries. Like it exists. This system exists in Uzbekistan. It's a unique part of the use policy.
Okay, we'll talk about the notebook later.
Yeah.
But what about you? Like, what are the main key takeaways from this meeting for you?
Well, first of all, I would like to say that the first legal act, that's law, which was signed by our president when he took the office, was the law on use policy. He pays attention to the needs of the youth from the beginning. In 2008,
You mean the first law that when he came to power?
Yeah,
Very first law.
First law
very first law.
signed. It was about the use. And another thing is that every year we have presidential decrees or the other legal instruments that is dedicated to the needs of the youth, to the implementation of the government policy, which empowers our youth, their role in our society, in the economy, in the politics, in every field. So nowadays we have, if you would take from that moment, from 2016, we can see that we have adopted more than 100 legal instruments that is devoted to the needs of our youth. That's one thing. Another thing, based on those instruments, we can say that we have created more than 200 preferences for the needs of the youth in different areas. So you have mentioned about youth register. That's important for the people, young people. It is targeted one. It is aimed to provide support, different kind of support based on the needs of a particular young people, right? In order to support this generation, support his during the studies, in empowering their ability to run business and other things. So very important steps. That's that kind of things have been seen during this meeting as well, because during this meeting, 3 additional new instruments were signed or adopted to support our youth in different kind of areas. For example, we have started with the money issue you have raised. It's very important to finance, to invest, to use. So I believe that we have created 2 more additional very important government agencies and mechanisms, I would say, in this regard, not the government agencies, to support our youth initiatives. For example, the one which was created under the youth foundation, which is going to support the business initiatives of our youth. Up $1 million USD was dedicated to this area. And another very important thing is that our nation, one of the private banks, they are going to support youth initiatives more in their functioning.
Was it Asaka?
Asaka and National?
Bank.
Aloka Bank and National Bank.
National Bank.
They're becoming
so
more
as
responsible.
You can see, we always pay attention to our youth to support them. We have so many brilliant young people, intelligent people. We just need to create environment where they can flourish, they can achieve more results in international levels. That should be our focus. That's why probably very important aspect of the meeting was dedicated to the knowledge, capacity building, knowledge building for our young generation, especially living in rural areas. This concerns the language skills.
I'm a bit confused. Like, you're mentioning different installments, but what about like overall? How much money is the government planning to allocate for the development of this area?
Well, in order to support the youth financially, yesterday Mr. President said that special funds will be allocated to from the several funds. For example, like 100 million dollars will be allocated through Youth Affairs Agency, and from today or when this funding will start, the youth will be able to get around up to uh, 2 billion sums, 2 billion sums to start their startups. From the ideas, ideas will be converted into startups. It's really essential. It's really effective for the youth who are on the verge of starting their startup businesses. It's really important step, financial step. And also the second one was for the graduates of the universities, and you know that around half of the graduates, they are just struggling to find proper jobs in the labor market. Therefore, in order to support them, financially, and in order to support them finding in terms of finding jobs, National Bank will get $100 million, extra additional $100 million, especially working with graduates of the universities, and they will open, like Mr. President said, he said that National Bank will open specific branches at universities. They will work in combination with the rectors, the combination of rectors and bankers, and they will help the graduates to
So
find
they will target
specific target. They have specific target that they allocate some packages to the graduates of the universities. It's really effective, and so we can see the great results in the future. And also Aloka Bank will be the bank of the youth. It was also emphasized in the yesterday's meeting, and additional $200 million will be allocated through Aloka Bank. And Aloka Bank will be involved in venturing, venture capital, and also the Aloka Bank will help startups, the youth who are engaged in startups, who has really innovative ideas. The Aloka Bank will help them to raise their business. Convertation. From ideas into the business, acceleration, convertation into the business.
Okay.
Yep.
Is it overall in total? Is it $400 million?
Yeah, $400 million.
No, I would say that
only
it's
for
not just $400 million US, because as Otabek mentioned, there's about 3 initiatives that was voiced during the meeting. But we have so many other things, which also involves the funding.
Yeah.
For example, we have mentioned about the business. For the business, it's important to have some place where you can run your business, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The industrial parks or industrial buildings, they're also going to be provided for the use in a preferential rate, or for the in kind of very useful or important terms that allows them to run this business.
Yeah, in terms of tax
innovation,
cuts.
yes,
Yeah,
tax
discounts.
Other things could be with regard to the tax benefits. For
Tax
example,
benefits,
if you are a young employer, you are not going to pay
social tax. Not 12%.
If you are a businessman.
If
you're a businessman. But if you are employed by yourself, you are also paying half of the tax additionally. Yes, that's also a benefit, and that's also a cost of the budget.
So, but one thing you were mentioning behind the scene, it's about providing interest-free credits or loans for graduates of PhD programs, which are within top 100, right?
Yeah, within top 100.
That's
it's really.
Also
I was also shocked by hearing this news, because I am going to be 33 years old. I have really small chance to get.
There's age limitation.
Yeah, age limitation up to 35. Only up to 35 years old, and you have to acquire PhD degree, and the university should be among top 100 universities. So in the world. In the world.
It's not easy, but still opportunity, right?
If you fulfill these requirements, and you will get up to 800 billion sums, as a mortgage, interest,
million, right? Or million.
I'm sorry, million. Up to 800 million, up to 800 million sums, interest free, and you can have your own accommodation.
That's cool.
To buy your house.
Your house,
Yes, another important initiative in this regard concerns the language learning. For example, if you want to learn certain foreign language, you are paying 2 months yourselves, then 6 months will be paid by government.
By the government, yeah.
Is it for all youth?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Not for all youth. Like, let me take from my own experience. Like as he mentioned it, we have special youth register. In other words, like youth notebook.
Okay.
We can express differently.
Yeah.
Youth register or youth notebook. And
Before going that, can you explain, like, for the foreign audience, they don't know what's this kind of register. We know that we have this kind of register in many areas. So, and specifically today's topic is the youth.
Yes.
Before going to that, can you explain what is this register?
Yeah,
Why do we need it?
Yeah, we need them. Like there are some like young people that are in need of social protection. For example, they are from some poor families. For example, they study at universities. Unfortunately, they are not able to like cover their expenditures. I mean, tuition fees, or they have some healthcare issues. I mean, health issues. They're not able to pay for these issues, or just some like these issues and problems. And the government launched a special program which is called like Youth Notebook or Youth Register. And it's also a unique system. It's not like it doesn't exist in many countries, especially in Central Asian countries. It exists like specifically in Uzbekistan. It's a really specific program, unique program. And you have heard about the youth leaders in mahallas. Yeah, they're responsible for youth register. Like there are some ways that you can register yourself. For example, you can call. There's a special number you can call, and you can on your own you can register yourself. And also there's a second way that it's online platform. You can open your website, which is called yoshlardaftari.uz. Yeah, so like Uzbek website, and you can open this website and you can register on your own. And
basically, if you, let's say, fulfill certain requirements,
criteria,
right?
For example,
you'll be able to apply for certain funds. Is it how it works?
Let me explain. So you register yourself, like you apply as an applicant, and there's a person who is called youth leaders in mahallas. He is responsible for this. He goes to your house or he calls, like he checks it. He checks it, and nowadays only that you have heard of about 7 people of mahallas in Uzbekistan. Yeah, they have a common decision. After this common decision, the person can get this benefit. I mean, after the decision of the 7 people. Okay. Now, one person cannot make a decision on his own. I mean, the youth leaders.
So commonly decides who's going to take the fund, right?
You are just applying for the register to be in the register. However, everything is checked. It's not just about 7 people involved in the mahallas to support the families, the youth, and other people our girls and women. The information will be checked. Why the register is important? It's important because we need to target the audience, target the youth with the needs.
Okay.
Yeah, social
and
protection.
Target the type of the need they have, because the register involves several kind of groups. 30. Yes.
30 benefits are available right now.
Available depending on your needs.
Yeah.
For example, if you are going to study, that's one kind of benefit. If you want to run a business, that's another kind of
another benefit. For healthcare also.
Yeah. Nowadays, for example, during the meeting with youth, President launched another initiative. He mentioned about the families in need, about 3,500 families. He wants the children of that family, those families, to study in leading institutions of not our country,
top universities in the world,
top universities abroad. That's also should be targeted. You should get information about those families and those very endowed youth in order to provide the support. That's why it's important to introduce this kind of register.
The language policy, why it's important? Because we want our, let's say, kids, I mean, Uzbekistan wants its youth generation to study in top universities. For that, we know that we should know English, right? It's important. It's must. So can you tell me what are the specific plans within this language policy?
It's not just about studying somewhere abroad.
Yeah.
Generally
It's
about
about-
communicating, right?
It is not just about communicating. It is about the employment opportunities. It is about integrating our economy to global markets.
Okay.
Because you won't be able to do so with the specialists who cannot communicate, as you said, with their peers or their companions from abroad, the companies from abroad, the business man from abroad.
Yep.
In order to accommodate this, in order to provide this opportunity, we need to invest a lot in terms of the foreign languages. And as you may know, we have different kind of government agencies providing free of charge teaching or free of charge modules, courses on foreign languages, not just for the youth, but during this meeting, it was emphasized that we will pay greater attention to our youth in terms of enabling them with the opportunity to learn foreign languages so that they are competitive in global markets. Otabek probably will elaborate on Ibrat Maktabi initiative that is a kind of great project that supports youth and other people interested to learn foreign language. They can learn language free of charge.
That's
Yeah,
good.
free. Yeah, in terms of gaining competitive advantage, we have to focus on language learning nowadays, as he also mentioned about it, and also language is becoming the key driver of the creative industry as well. Because we are just
we talk a lot about creative industry economy, right?
We talked a lot yesterday also, Mr. President also focused on this creative economy and creative industry. And nowadays, the use, the contribution of the use in this sphere, it accounts for around 98%. Like music and films, so on, literature. The level of the creative industry is expanding on the daily basis.
Especially this kind of part of economy is actually making the brand of the country.
Of course,
right?
and also one also great statistic is that nowadays in top universities around the world, around 1,500 people, students are studying there.
Oh, really?
From Uzbekistan.
Specifically in this field?
Yeah. It's a great number.
Yeah.
If you compare with last year's, it's a great achievement that achieved by our country. And also one great record, it was broken by the person, broken by a young man from Bukhara, which is who is called Mr. Parviz. SAT, you know about SAT?
Yep.
Yeah, it's if you want to apply for really famous and top universities in the world, you have to get SAT record.
It's a test on math.
Yeah,
right?
test on math and critical thinking, reading, and so on. And Mr. Parviz got the record point. It's 1,600. He got 1,600. It's a how to say, I can express with words. It's so difficult, so complicated, but he achieved this. And he's from Uzbekistan. And Mr. President talked to him and talked to his mother.
Okay.
And his mother said, I really loved her words. I really loved. Unless we invest significant hours, significant amount of money, significant resource in our kids, we cannot achieve these results. And unfortunately, we are more obsessed with readings nowadays. We're investing money in these ceremonies, traditional. Okay, she addressed it to the mothers of Uzbekistan. She addressed to the mothers. Okay, mothers, listen to me carefully. So work with your child, work with your children. Okay, don't invest in this kind of things which are unnecessary, not effective. We are losing money.
Any other points about the youth business? You want to mention?
Yeah, youth business also related to the education centers. It's also one type of the youth business, and there will be really benefits for the youth who wants to start their business in the rural areas. In terms of education centers, it's becoming a huge problem nowadays in rural areas that the youth are not allowed to study in their areas. So they have to move to other places to get this, to learn to study the other language, especially the English or Russian or something else. And therefore, if the young person is certified with C1 level, if he or she gets earns C1 level, and if they want to run their education center in rural areas, they will be granted with how to explain interest-free loans up to 120 million sums. So great advantage.
Yeah,
it's a great advantage opportunity. So you go to the rural areas and you have a headache that you need some money for the start. It's not always like a piece of cake, about it. Okay? It's not always a piece of cake, because the rural area, you have to attract a lot of students, and for the start, you need some capital. So unless you have your own capital, you go to the bank and you get the loan, it will be interest free. It's a huge opportunity for the business area. And if you combine with these education centers, the potential of the rural area, the potential of the youth who live in the rural areas, it will be maximized twofold or threefold because of this opportunity. It's my my opinion, my view.
So I think it's very important. It's not just about the equal opportunities in different parts of our country. It's also about the development of those areas. And it's not just about the supply part, because we are providing interest rate, free rate loans for the young businessmen, not just involved in the language teaching, but also in different kind of other areas, for example, IT spheres. But also we are providing the demand part, as I have mentioned, by support of youth, by different kind of initiatives. For example, the register we have, the support for the government money for the studying of languages. That's a demand part. So I think it's a complex kind of approach to deal with the needs of our youth.
So before moving to our last question, let me ask this important personally to me as well. So we know that the government, based on our overall impression, based on what government is doing, the government is investing a lot of money on sport people. And we became famous with our, how many medals we won in Olympic Games, right? We have our boxers, wrestlers, and recently our football player went to Manchester City. We're proud of them, and I'm really happy for them. But on the other hand, is the government investing money in terms of nurturing people who will be doing the science? Because this is, in my opinion, more important than sport. Sport is important, I know, for brand, but science is more important in terms of overall development. What do you think?
I would like to mention one interesting point. Mr. President also said about it. He said that I am always criticized by the mass media or by people that I invest a lot of money in sports, and I allocate more awards for the sportsmen than the people who surpass in science or excel in science. And he said that I love my children that who are really excellent in science as well. And awards and benefits, he said, he mentioned it, he focused on this. Awards and benefits will be increased fivefold.
Okay. It's very important that I wouldn't say that the government is not paying attention to the scientific areas when it comes to the youth, because if you look into the budget, we have just adopted a lot of money dedicated to this sphere. And the result is there. Why? Because in a couple of years, 3-4 years, we have managed to increase the number of young scientists in the science. We have at the moment more than 4,500, about 4,500 young scientists.
Only
in
youth.
The area.
Up to 35 years old, I think.
Also a kind of investment to the sphere. Another thing is that we want to also pay attention to the achievements of young people in international levels. That's why this was a very important initiative with regard to the writing their gratitude in a form of financial support for 5
award.
times.
Financial award, let's say.
Financial award. But it's one thing. Another important thing to my mind is that we're also creating environments for youth to compete with each other in Uzbekistan with regard to different technical science, the programming, the robotics. That's very important.
New areas for scientific competitions, right?
Besides, will be included.
We normally have like on history, physics, mathematics. So beyond that, we will be
beyond.
Okay. Cool.
The president said that we have to focus on this sphere. I mean, we have to focus on the people.
The science,
we have to focus on the youth who are in science.
Okay.
In science to support them financially as well. And he said that was really a great news for the people who are in science, like
what specific, like why should we care about this information? Like what specifically he offered?
He offered that like if you have something like in an international scale, if you have one in a national scale that
international award, let's say, right?
Let's say, so you get some amount of money, you get like let's
is
say
the case today, or it's going to be
the case.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the case, and this amount of money will be like increased 5-fold, 5 times.
Okay, it means that
in other words,
people doing science, they will be more encouraged to continue their scientific work.
Will be more motivated, inspired.
Okay.
Yeah, let's say like you have won chemistry competition, like International Chemistry Olympics, and so far you have been getting around, let's say, $1,000. Now, if you win this award again, you will get like $50,000.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, 5 times more. Yeah, 5-fold increase. It's a great numbers.
Yeah,
it's a good indicator. I mean, yeah.
Okay, so let's finish our today's lively discussion with what's the policy or plans of the Parliament, Oliy Majlis, in promoting the youth policy.
The Parliament plays very important role in this regard. Why? Because it's a legislative chamber, and 2 of our members, they officially can be said that they represent youth of our society, but all other members of the Parliament also are very interested in cares about the future, the interests, the needs of our youth. What we can do, we are working daily basis on progressing and developing our legislative framework when it comes to the initiatives of our executives and the needs of our electorate, youth electorate. So every day when we are considering certain legislative acts, bills, we're taking into consideration that aspect. That's one thing. Another thing is that we are going to create, as you know, we are newly elected Parliament. We have been creating a number of commissions on different kind of fields. For example, recently we have created commission on WTO issues, and we are planning to create a commission on youth affairs as well, so that this commission will work closely by the NGOs in the field, the youth NGOs, and monitor the implementation of the legislative acts we have adopted and the government policies and initiatives of the government when it comes to the youth interests, the business, the promotion of the capacity building among the youth, the support of the needed group of the people, society. Yes.
Otabek, what do you think?
In terms of legislation and laws, because as I mentioned that in some rural areas, the youth are in need of a lot of things. They have to study and they need quality. And therefore, we have to think about like some tax benefits as well. I have some proposals in terms of tax benefits due to the fact that unless you implement some tax benefits, it's really difficult for them to start their businesses at the start phase, at the beginning of this phase. I mean, and of course, he also mentioned about the Youth Commission, that the Youth Commission will deal with the youth who have some problems and issues. And Mr. President said that you have to attract them youth to the Parliament as well. They have to come there. The dialogue should be open. You have to talk to them.
Interesting.
Yeah, you have to talk to them. And according to the talk, you have to make some proposals. Yeah, you have to make some decisions.
Yeah.
Yep. based on the like issues, based on the issues, like real issues, ongoing issues.
So it's
of
sort
the-
of a field work within parliament, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
people are coming to the parliament.
If you allow me to make another final remark, I should have mentioned about the role of the youth in the work of the parliament, because we have created the youth parliament in five years ago.
Yeah. It's a unique
In
system as well.
In Senate and the legislative chamber. They are very active. And those MPs I have mentioned, they were members of this youth parliament.
Yeah,
And
So they
used to be.
transitioned to the parliament.
They
Okay,
used it to
yes.
be. Two of them used it to be.
Okay. Cool.
Then we have another 250 youth engaged in the local representations. Also members of the youth parliament. So they're very active. We're working closely with them, because every political party it has their youth kind of
Wings.
yes, departments.
Youth wings departments.
So they're actively engaged in the work of the parties and the parliament. But the goal is to make sure that this is institutionalized, so that we have a close contact with them.
Yeah, close contact.
In order to kind of fine-tune our legislative actions and actions monitoring system.
It was a really good conversation. Thank you.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for the invitation.
Yeah, thank you
you
for
so
your
much.
invitation. It was really great. That also.
Thank you.